Hey Gemini, we are back at it again with the Rider-Waite deck today. And I've already shuffled the cards, obviously, and I'm getting them laid out for you. But I wanted to let you know, while I was shuffling, I almost got the sense that it was taking more effort to do something very basic, shuffling. It was taking a lot more concentration than it normally takes me. So I don't know if there's some overlap with you, Gemini, where it kind of feels like everything is requiring more effort of you, even the stuff that should be easy. We have the Hierophant card as your significator. It feels like I don't know if you've inserted yourself into a new, I want to say curriculum. I don't know why that's the word that's coming up, but Jupiter right now is in Gemini, so I can see that as kind of a personification of the Hierophant here. Kind of this embodiment of someone who is giving voice, communicating, Mercury, Gemini, higher ideals, whether that be religious ideals or it could be philosophical, it could be education, somebody being a teacher. You could see yourself in that position since this card is in the significator part of your spread right now. You could be embodying elements of the teacher, elements of some form of leadership. And obviously I haven't turned over any of the other cards yet, but right off the bat, it's I'm almost wondering if that position is kind of being forced on you. And so maybe this is why everything is requiring more effort of you, because it's kind of all being condensed into each other. Like you have more to do with the same amount of time. Covering you, we have the Six of Swords. And I don't know. There's so much like antsy energy with you guys. It's just like I'm hearing in my head right now, should I stay or should I go? It's just this really restless feeling like there's I think because you're being put into this position of educational leadership as an archetype, not necessarily specifically like you obviously not everybody that's watching this is going to be a teacher or in a teaching position, but some form of that archetype. I don't know if you're fully comfortable with it. It's or if it's even where you want to be. So there's this kind of like one part of you wants to stick around and continue this role that you're in because of moral obligation. But there's another part of you that's like, screw this. I'm ready to jet. I'm going to hop in this boat and I'm going to paddle out of this water because I don't want to be here. This is too much. Crossing you, you have the Queen of Swords. So definitely a decisive point for you. And again, just like the confirmation of this like authority, like I don't, astrologically there's a lot of emphasis on Gemini right now, so it makes sense to me that you guys are being put, I don't want to say being put on a pedestal, so to speak, but you're being put in a position where others are relying on you for some form of support, but I don't think it's like financial support. I think it's more like, it's more cerebral. It's philosophical, existential. You're on the operator end of the suicide hotline, so to speak. And with the Six of Swords in that context, it kind of makes sense. You could be helping to steer people off of the wrong path, so to speak. You're in a position where you're able to ascertain this dichotomy between the right and the wrong, and you, because of that, you're being kind of placed into these situations where you have to be that impartial, objective figure for some situation that needs to be guided back onto the path again, if that makes sense. At the root of the reading, we have the Five of Pentacles in reverse, which to me, again, I don't get the sense that it's representing you. But just kind of confirmation of being able to see people in situations of destitution in some way, whether it's spiritual or material or emotional, there's a feeling on their part that everything is wrong, and you're helping to guide them out of that. Behind you, we have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. I keep looking at the Hierophant. He's got something to say. But this Knight of Pentacles in reverse, I don't know if you kind of had to sacrifice your own personal obligations, your own personal goals in order to embody this, whatever this role is. But I definitely get the sense of like some sort of standstill was placed. We have Saturn in your 10th house right now, so that can kind of be an embodiment of this energy where it kind of feels like your career is at like a standstill. Could also, there's this sense of it takes so much effort just to move one step, and then you have to move back 2 or 3 steps right afterwards because there's more to be done. And it's not that you're doing anything wrong, it's just that the energy is not conducive for momentum in that part of your life. I feel like you're being called to lead your energy into a different expression. Not necessarily giving up what you've established for yourself and what you've been working on for yourself, but an understanding that this isn't the season to make leaps and bounds in that part of your life. It's going to take a lot more effort to move. because there's other things going on, and I feel like your particular expertise, your particular experiences lend themselves to helping in a different way right now. At the crown of the reading, we have the Queen of Cups. I get the sense that you know all this. I'm telling you this right now, but you have an innate understanding that this is where you're supposed to be right now. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Whether you're listening to that or not, I don't know. But while I don't necessarily think that you have enough time to sit down and reflect on things, I feel like if you did, you'd kind of come to these realizations on your own that, hey, this is okay. I'm needed where I am right now. I'm doing what I can. And I feel like what you're doing is helping others. Before you, we have the Chariot, which I feel goes back to the message that I was trying to get across of, you may not be moving in this part of your life, but the moves that you are making are necessary. Continuing to apply yourself where the opportunities are presenting themselves to you is the right tactic. Even if it feels like you're not doing anything, you're doing something. It's going into the bank is the term that came to mind. And yeah, it is just, it's heavy. It's so, I keep, exertion. There's so much exertion in every little move that you're making, and it's taking so much to do anything. And it's like the wind is blowing and you're having to hold the steering wheel for the 5 or 6 other passengers that are in the car with you, because if you let go even for a second, all of you will be responsible for everything. For everyone that's in the car, you'll be responsible for injuries and damages and whatnot. And so you are holding on for their sake. You have a moral obligation to do so, says the Hierophant again. Around you, we have the World card. Yeah, in this particular case, I feel like it's really kind of doubling back on that message of, you're the fulcrum point. You're in the eye of the storm. You are guiding others to safety. You are holding the fort down for fair weather, because right now it's not fair weather. It's, the ground is shaky, the storms are storming. The sun hasn't come out yet. There's no rainbows. There's no still calm in the air. There's no soft breeze. It's like gales of wind blowing and knocking things about. And you're the... I don't know if you guys have seen Silent Hill, the movie they made based on the video games. But that priestess, pastor, the female pastor that was in the church, supposedly holding the fort down, while I'm not necessarily comparing you to that character who was wicked and did some terrible things, that feeling of being in some sort of refuge, some sort of safe place, while there's so much darkness and monsters, violently tearing about outside of this refuge, this haven. And you are acting as a sort of light, a sort of pillar in this space, helping those around you to hold fast to the ideals that you've been working towards in the midst of this outer breakdown, in the midst of everything around you kind of changing and shifting and being rocked about, The people around you, Six of Wands, wow, that was a slip. I mean, you have the Six of Swords right here, so it's like another six, another emphasis on the six. But yeah, I definitely feel like they see you in a position of leadership. They see you at the end of all of this having emerged victorious. Your efforts are going to manifest into attaining some form of, I don't want to say perfection, but this is moving you up the pyramid in some way. And I think this is the case not necessarily because your intentions behind your efforts have been to climb to the top of this so-called pyramid, but out of genuine need. There were boots to fill, and you put those boots on, and you did it. Not for the acclaim, not for the status, the promotion, the recognition, but because it needed to be done. Your obligations required you to do so. And whether those obligations were imposed upon you by a company or a promise, I feel like even beyond that, it was an obligation to yourself, to prove to yourself that you can rise to the occasion, that you can do the work that needs to be done and get it done well, and help those around you to get their own work done in the process. To hold on to the dream. Hopes and fears, we have the Five of Cups in reverse. Not getting lost and feeling like your efforts are being wasted, like your energy is being expended unnecessarily. I don't think that's the case. I feel like that's on your mind. On some level, you are worried that all of the exertion, all of the pushing and working and holding on isn't going to matter in the end. I think it matters. It's already made a difference. It's already served powerful purpose. You've already helped somebody or some people in some way. And the momentum is already there. You're already on the trajectory to get somewhere. I don't know if it's the top of this pyramid, so to speak, but you've already unlocked the path. And you're just kind of being guided into it now because it's already there. It's already manifest. It's already happened on some level. So don't muck about in those feelings of wasted effort, because it's not wasted. Not at all. Final outcome card, we have the Eight of Cups. That to me feels like coming to the end of this situation where you feel like you have to hold on and you have to push and wait, and that's done. And this Eight of Cups is you finally being able to drop the reins and walk away for your own sake, and to go sit on the couch, to go sit on the beach and relax and breathe and trust that what you've set into motion has enough momentum to breathe and live on its own without you having to be there, counting the seconds, the milliseconds. It's gonna be okay. You've done what you can. And it wasn't wasted. So breathe, reflect, appreciate. Do what you feel is necessary. It's not going to be so difficult forever. There is another side to this. There is an end to the tunnel. But when you turn around and look, you'll see all the people that you're helping to get through this tunnel with, and I think it will help provide a sense of resolution in your heart that, hey, maybe I am doing something right. And I think you are. So hang in there, Gemini. I don't know why I definitely want to give a shout out to any nursing Geminis that are out there, because having come to the conclusion of this, I can totally see this as somebody who's been fighting through the most terrible shift of their life in a hospital and just feeling so exhausted, so incredibly dead inside. But if you stop and take a minute to look back, you realize the difference that you made. You've saved lives. You've helped so many people. And yeah, it's taken so much out of you, but you chose this path. You put the effort into getting here because you wanted to make a difference, because you wanted to help people. And here you are doing that. You're helping people. You're making a difference. It's not meant to be easy. And that's okay. Even if you're not getting a pat on the back every 5 seconds, that's not really why you're doing it. You're here to help people. You're here to make sure that mistakes aren't made. And I think you're doing a good job. I'll be that little pat on the back for you for the next 5 seconds. So don't give up. There's a beach island vacation in your future where you can finally relax because you have arrived. You did it. See you, Gemini.